So hello everyone, my name is Jules de Chateleux. I am the co-founder of Division, production company, a global production company that started in 2010. This year has been, I guess, tremendous for us at the D&AD because we had the best of both worlds, which means on one hand, we had a really strong commercial that we've done with Publicis Italy for Diesel, directed by François Rousselet, called Francesca, which is a very long form with no cut downs, pretty radical subjects, really well executed. And on the other hand, we had two great music videos. One for Disclosure, directed by Simon Cahn.
Let's get some ducks out of too. Alex, you're going to be fine. 10 liters of oxygen right now.
And one for the Flatbush Zombies, featuring James Blake, directed by a really young director at Division called Arnaud Bresson. So it was really good for us because we had by being really present in a commercial film craft world, but also in the music video world. I guess that's what made the year pretty groundbreaking and historical for us, being able to navigate between those both worlds. First of all, we are very friends with Publicis Italy and all the people at Publicis Italy. So that film is, to me, is the end of a trilogy because we did 3 films for Diesel in 2017, 2018, and 2020. So it's a long trust relationship between François Rousselet, the director, Division, the production company, the brand, and the agency. So we had been together before. And this was a total wild card, which means we shot it in only 2 days. So it's a 2.5-minute film shot in only 2 days. And we had total trust from the client and the agency. They went to François and said, you shoot absolutely what you want to shoot. We're not going to feedback anything. So we had a total freedom to create the character. The budget was very low. I, of course, can't reveal the budget because this is under NDA. But what I can tell you, it's probably the cheapest commercial that Division has ever done. It was shot in Ukraine with our friends from family. Only Harlow Monroe flew from New York, the main actress. The DP was French, but apart from that, like about a few French people and the casting, everything was built locally. It's funny that we won in craft because we shot everything in one location. We didn't have the time. We had so many scenes to do that we picked one university and did everything in that one university. So every time you see restroom, toilets, where she goes into class, corridors, where she does the party, everything is set in one place. The only thing we had to do is we had to build a bathroom for her and her bedroom. That's it. But we built it within the place. So we were literally like shooting one scene, changing wardrobe, doing one scene, changing wardrobe like that in the course of 2 days. Now, the last trick that I think is good on this one is we had My Girl as a song. And everybody knows this song as being a Nirvana song. But of course, it's not a Nirvana song, it's a Lead Belly song. And Lead Belly himself, that singing it in 1920s, stated in few interviews that it was actually an old folk song from before the century. So it was in the domain. And that was a song that I had for a long time in my mind. I knew that we could use this song on a commercial without asking to anyone because it doesn't belong to anyone. It's 150 years old, so it's in the domain since a long time. And I think that was the perfect. We always had this song in mind, and knowing that we wouldn't have to pay it. So, I mean, we just had to pay the recording of it, but there's no rights to be paid about it. So all of that together, like the casting flying, the one location thing, the amazing crew in Kiev ready to pull out miracles with almost no money. Matthias Boucard coming with his Alexa 65 to shoot square formats and bringing his own Steadicammer for free in Kiev. François having the total freedom, us being in a really long relationship with the client and the agency. Nicolas Larouquer editing for free, almost top editor. and me bringing the idea of music for free that sounds like $1 million but costs zero. All of that together created it's a scam. It's a scam because it was a really small film. The truth is it's a scam, but it is a very good film because the moment they called us with that idea, the idea is very good, and that's what we always look for. And this is a very, very good idea. So our job was just to be sure that the idea came together in the best way possible. But Publicis Italy came up with an amazing script, and Diesel was actually really strong and proud choices to put it, because it's not an easy choice for a client to broadcast such a film. So I think basically those are the elements that made it look amazing, but everything belongs to the story and the actress, I would say. Without the script and the actress, everything falls apart. All the rest we just built to kind of surround it and elevate it, but with that script and that actress, you can't. It's all good. You're on good tracks. Arnaud Bresson, the director of Afterlife, runs back 5 years ago, was an intern art director for Division. Then he became an art director for Division and started to slide through directing skills. So first of all, like Arnaud Bresson is a big success for us because it's exactly what Division is here to do. It's basically taking someone who comes from south of France, being an intern in art direction, and bring him to the D&ADs in the course of 5 years. That's something we're really proud of. And that idea of X-ray, he had an idea of X-ray for the last 2 years. So we were sending treatments to everyone, like nothing has ever been done with X-ray. There's been some photography, of course, but it's never been done in the course of moving image. So we were sending that treatment everywhere. And everybody was like, yeah, of course, we can do something with X-ray, but you should shoot the artist regular at some point. So it should cut between. So I was like, no, like light on, light off, light on. So we were like, no, we were pretty sure that the idea had to be consistent. You had to be X-ray from beginning to the end. You had to explore everything you can see with X-ray. The inside of the dog, someone stuck in the trunk, how does an engine of a car work, a pregnant woman. You know, we had to investigate all the possibilities of it. And this is something we really try to do at Division, not to do ratatouille of ideas with mood tapes of everything. No. Try to focus everything on one idea and exploit 100% the potential of this idea. So basically, we had this treatment for 2 years. We were sending it everywhere. Everybody was saying no. And then Theo Gal, the producer, met the Flatbush Zombies, and we're like, I got a hip-hop band from New York. They got a track called Afterlife, which is exactly the subject, which talks about what happens after life. And then Arnaud was like, okay, that's it. We have it. It's really dark, deep hip-hop sound. We're going to explore what Gangsta's Paradise, a bit like Coolio, what does happen when bad guys go to hell or go to heaven? You know, how does it look like? And Arnaud was like, well, it looks exactly the same. They do exactly the same thing than they do in every hip hop music videos, but we see it through the spectrum of the X-rays. And well, that's cool because we want it, but then we had no idea how to make it. And that was like the big problem starting, which also happens in music videos. You got a great idea, you develop it, but you got no clue or whatsoever how you're going to make it happen. And so we work really closely with VFX studio called Machine Mall, run by Jean-François Fontaine and Selim, who was the head of VFX with Jean-François. And we were looking at it and we had no clue. A few real shots done in X-ray existed. But the problem is you can't stay more than a second in a real X-ray room, or else you get literally burned. So we could not shoot like this. So we had to develop a technique. We were not sure how to do it. Do we do double plates? And all of a sudden, GF came up with that idea that we should actually shoot with a thermal camera, because the thermal camera will already give us kind of some layers. That was the first idea. Then we would track this thermal camera. So it was basically guys shot with thermal camera and tracking marks. And we would develop the skeleton of them on stage so that we could see on screen. We had already tracked like motion control or like cam map. We had already tracked the skeletons moving. And then the tricks we had is basically we had some transparency. So what you don't see because you haven't seen the making of is that most of the guys or the girls, they wear clothes that are transparent, that are see-through. So because then we put everything with the X-ray, you get the feeling you're seeing through the layer and then through the skin because you see the thing. But that's a trap because actually you could actually see through the things. It's a bit like some element like the doors of the cars have been replaced with plastic doors that you actually see through. So some stuff have been made practically. So we basically tracked on set, use a thermal camera to already give a sense of layer, actually use some real see-through elements, such as the luggage is actually a real plastic luggage that you see through it. But once you shoot it, you're like, oh, blended with all the rest, it's a magic trick, it's everything, but the shot is just done practically. But that was really long. And so we shot it pre-COVID, and then COVID happened, and that actually saved our life because it was 120 shots to pull out in post. It's a massive work. I'm going to use this opportunity to thank Jean-François Fontaine and Machine Mall once again, because they worked through whole COVID. Like the 3 months of quarantine, they basically spent it on the video, and that saved us because the video had to be released like a few weeks after, and we could not have done a third of what we did. And COVID happened, and so the guys were like, well, that's all we had to do. So they worked hard on it, and they did an amazing job. So it's, voila, this is how it happened. A long run, a long idea from a young director, pushed. The music video was quite expensive, so we had the CNC. We asked for the help of French state to produce it, which meant we had to shoot in France. So the Flatbush Zombies came and shoot in Paris, which is usually very rare that those type of artists actually fly to France to shoot. So it was, everything happened the way it had to happen. Everything happened naturally. I often talk about planets spinning. I often talk about alignment of planets, the way they come all together. On this one, everything came together perfectly, including the COVID, which helped us in a way. And then when the music video was out, it was like, out of the 100 music videos that Divisions produces, probably top 5 kind of feedbacks we had. It's like everybody was mesmerized about it, and it was a lot of hard work. It was a year and a half of work for 3 minutes, but I think it definitely worth it. Music video to me is always about making something you haven't seen. Like there's been too many, and sometimes even us did it, like too many moments where you just like repeat and copy what you've seen next and say, okay, and it just moves a little bit because everybody has the same reference that they put together. Everybody looks at the same blogs, watches the same film, goes to the same exhibition. So at some point, there's something that is almost, critical in the way that it's not innovative enough. And music video has to be innovative. You have to take risk in music video. I'd rather have like a music video that is really bad, but at least that try to express something, rather than a music video that is average, but that is just copying the last 3 cool things. And it's very usual that we get brief from people out there in the world that basically say, oh, we want a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a little bit of that. So right now, everybody's asking us to redo an X-ray video, but we're not going to redo an X-ray video, of course, because that's been done. If there's one thing I could say to younger directors or younger creatives, that if they are looking this interview, would be that everything happens to me at the script moment. Everything is on the script. The production for a production company is the very easy part. Pull out together an amazing script, make it happen is very easy. And people are also often, misleading the order and already thinking about locations or the way they're going to shoot it. But this is a big mistake. Everything happens with a pen and paper. I mean, I write with a pen and paper if you can have an iPad or write it on your laptop, whatever, but everything is at the script moment. Everything is at the script moment. The way you split your time on the film, if you take a month, you shouldn't do like 3 weeks of prep and 1 week of writing. You should extend the writing part to the more you can, and then everything will come together nicely. The problem you encounter in production, the problem you encounter when you build a film, when you put it together, are the script problems. Because now you are facing some stuff that you didn't thought of before, but you're too late in the process. So you're like, oh, what should be the casting? In casting, you should not ask yourself what should be the casting. You should know what your casting is because you've written a part and you know exactly what you're looking for. And I think this is where doing music videos has been super helpful, because music videos is, of course, about production, but it has to be super smart from a script standpoint, because you have to know that what you're writing, you'll be able to pull out. You can't discover after. And this is where I still think our industry in general can learn a lot from feature film. And right now we are producing some feature film at Division, but we are also working with feature film directors. And I'm not saying that one method is better than the other. I said that the more bridge that can be built in between the different formats and medium, the better. And so right now we are learning a lot from the method of the feature film director and writer, because those guys, they spend 2, 3, 4 years writing a film, you know, like 4 years with a pen and paper before they don't even go out to see a location and to shoot anything. So that's very interesting. And when they come to work with us, they're like, oh, you can actually do all of this in a month, like pull out all those things. So I think, and this is what I love about D&AD, is the fact you can talk about a book, about a poster, about a music video, about a digital application. That's what I love. And I think this is really, to me, the D&AD. This is the way that everybody talks together. And I think we could even widen the circle to some other medium and to some other people. So that would be the only thing, like exchange a lot on your script, make it read to other people, pitch it with voice out loud, try to say if it should already emotionally affect the people just when you say it, regardless of how you shot it and the way it's casted, the way it's lit, the way it's edited. You should already be able to tell your story and to emotionally affect the people, the person you have in front of you. If you can do that, you're on the start of a good path. Repeat that exercise more time before you start to really shoot. And that would be my only advice. Script, ideas, unseen things, emotion. That would be the fourth thing, that you have to be sure that that emotion is created here, and then you can expand it. And once you have a good script, you can convince anyone. Okay, come with me, let's do this. Okay, let me have this location. Watch, this is my script. You have to be part of it. You know what I mean? Once you do that, you can gather around you with the energy. But you need that. You need that sparkle in the beginning that makes sure that everybody understands what they're doing. So that would be my only. But all the other companies that are with us in the top 5, top 10, whatever, they all know that. That's not. I'm not giving them a trick. I'm giving a bit of lucidity to maybe younger creatives that are starting in a thing. And I think that does apply for music video. It does apply for creatives in commercial. It does apply for the ID. The ID is that's the gem, the piece of gold we are all in the river looking for. It's been 10 years, 11 years with Division, and that's what we always like. You know, we look for that little piece of gold. That's heart of gold. Yeah, that's what we are doing. We are gold ID seeker. That's what we should do.